99% of the time, your claim will be paid by an insurance company, but there are several different types of insurance that can come into play. First, let's talk about liability insurance for the at-fault driver who caused the accident. This insurance company usually pays your claim. Some companies are easier to deal with than others. If the at-fault driver in your case is insured by Allstate or Progressive, get ready for a fight because we know from experience that these companies are difficult to deal with. The amount of available liability insurance coverage is going to vary from case to case. In South Carolina, the amount of liability insurance coverage for any one individual's claim can be as little as $25,000. Most drivers will only carry $25,000 in liability insurance coverage for any one claim made against their policy. Liability policies also have a cap on the amount that they will pay out for multiple claims. Minimal limits coverage is also known as 25-50 coverage. That means that $25,000 in coverage is the most that will be paid out to any one person for an injury claim filed against that policy, and $50,000 is the most that will be paid to all injured persons combined if more than one person has been hurt. So if 5 people have been badly hurt by a driver who has 25-50 coverage, the $50,000 in coverage will have to be divided among the 5 people. For accidents occurring in South Carolina on or after January 1, 2012, the liability insurance company is now required to tell us how much insurance coverage was in effect. Before that date, this information was typically not divulged until a lawsuit was filed. This was a helpful change in our law, as our goal is to try to avoid a lawsuit if possible, because if we have to file a lawsuit, which we have to do in perhaps 20% of the cases that we handle, we know that it's going to take an awfully long time before your case is resolved, because it can take 2 years or more to get a trial date set. Also understand that the amount of coverage that an at-fault driver has does not mean that is the amount that is going to get paid to you on your case. If your case is worth $5,000, you will be paid $5,000, no matter how much coverage is in effect on the at-fault vehicle. In some cases, we will be dealing with your insurance, even though you were not at fault. Assume that the driver who caused your accident was uninsured. Insurance Research Council statistics show that 11% of South Carolina drivers are uninsured. If you've been hurt by one of those drivers, we will have to go to your insurance company to have them pay the claim using your uninsured motorist coverage. Every driver who buys liability coverage in South Carolina automatically is provided uninsured motorist coverage in the same amount. An issue that can come into play when we're dealing with a situation like that is stacking. And I don't want to go into a long legal explanation of that, but just know that in certain circumstances, if we're dealing with your personal uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, we may be able to stack your coverages to increase your recovery if you had more than one household vehicle. Here's another situation. Let's say that your case is worth more than the amount of liability coverage that the at-fault driver had in effect. For example, assume your case is worth $50,000. But there's only $25,000 of coverage on the at-fault vehicle. Hopefully, you have underinsured motorist coverage. If you do, we can then go to your company and use that coverage to try to make up the difference for a full damages recovery. If you don't have underinsured motorist coverage, call your agent today and ask how you can get that coverage. It won't help you with this claim, but it's dirt cheap coverage which will help protect your family and you in the future if there's another accident. You also may have what is called medical payments or personal injury protection coverage, which is almost a source of double coverage for certain types of losses that you may have, such as your treatment bills. Sometimes personal injury protection coverage can even cover lost wages up to a certain amount. If you have that type of coverage, and our attorney and case manager will look at your documentation to determine what coverage you have, we will be able to help you collect that money from your insurance company, and we will not charge a fee for any payment based on medical payments or personal injury protection coverage. Finally, if we're dealing with your insurance company, know that your insurance company is not going to be your good neighbor, and if we make a claim against them, they are not on your side and you are not in good hands. They will fight your claim just like the at-fault driver's insurance company will. That's what insurance companies do. So just because it's your insurance company, that's not going to make it any easier for us to get you a full and fair recovery.